Hello, friends. Pardon the appearance and the look. I'm sick. Welcome to part 2 of 24-hour reading challenge. I read Out of the Woods and a little bit of City of Glass in this video. If you guys watched the last one, I read The Night and the Moth as a part of a 24-hour reading challenge. However, as I am editing, I realized that The Night and the Moth literally took, I think that video is almost an hour. This one's almost 40 minutes, so that's why I split them up into 2 different videos. So highly recommend watching the last one if you have not, to get the full experience of this challenge. But regardless, let's get into Out of the Woods and City of Glass.
Good morning, friends. It is 10:42 in the morning, a little bit of a later start. I've been working on some school stuff this morning, but we're about to hop into it. I know I was talking about it last night, what I wanted to read post Night in the Moth, and I think I'm going to do Out of the Woods. I know City of Glass won the poll, but that just feels like a lot for me right now after The Night in the Moth, and Out of the Woods feels like it will be a nice breather from fantasy and from how crazy The Night in the Moth was. I have 14 hours and 51 minutes left on the 24-hour timer. So let's see how much we get done. I honestly might finish this book before the timer even finishes. So maybe I'll have time to read like half a book, unless I have like one small book that I could read. That is if I finish this one. So yeah, we've got our candle going. We've got the ambiance on. We've got the dog next to us. So let's go. All right, we are on chapter 7, I think. These are some long chapters, or they're short chapters, and the book just feels like it's taking forever. I don't know why. I think it's either I'm still hopped up on The Night in the Moth, or it's the weather, or I don't know. But I also am not liking this female main character. So let me explain where we're at. So this starts with the couple already being married, and it's basically like a second chance romance, but within the marriage. So they're high school sweethearts. They've been together since they were 14, I think it is. But things have kind of dulled out. She's kind of lost her spark, and her friends suggest going on this like wellness retreat to spark up their marriage, make things new, blah blah blah. I've marked some pages that I wanted to bring up. Okay, this page is page 29, so we start off at like a gala charity event that Sarah, the wife, is throwing, and she ends up not meeting the goal that she wanted to until her husband comes in with like a last minute donation to get them all the way to the goal. And she's mad about it because she wanted this to be her own. She didn't want any help from him. But this got to me. This just stood out to me. I'm really loving the times you're choosing to use us and then you. Pardon? You said what it cost us and that I was nowhere near close. Well, you made yourself clear. It's your event, not mine. But it's our money I spent, not mine. What's mine is yours, he replies. So there's this. The main problem that she's having is the fact that nothing is hers alone, It's either everything has been with her and Caleb or with her and her mom. There's nothing that she can definitively say is mine alone. And I think that's so stupid, personally. I think it's so stupid, and I think it's so, like, you have got to look inward before you blow up at your husband for helping you. I get it, not really, kind of, that you wanted to do this by yourself and it be like your own event, but come on. And then page 37, it's like a month after the gala, and her husband have not really been talking, and she's talking with her best friend, who she's known all her life. Okay, this I really liked. So she's talking to her friend about everything and how she feels like she has nothing for herself. She has no hobbies, no anything, not a job, like she just stays at home. Well, she says it's fucked up, right? That I have all this time, good health, and resources at my disposal, and I do nothing with it. But Mom, and her friend chimes in, what you've got to do first is stop comparing yourself to Marcy. I think that is going to be the catalyst of this entire book, is that she is so messed up with her mom passing away that she feels, because she is still here and is not sick and did not really have her life ripped away by this sickness, that she has to do everything in her power to live the perfect life. And I think that is what is going to be the main problem. And I'm so glad that her friend is stepping up and saying, stop comparing yourself to your mom. This is like the last page that I just read. So they have started the retreat, like they've showed up, they've done all the check-in, everything, they're about to start. And something that I've noticed is our main girl, Sarah, I think she has some problem with her in-laws, Caleb's parents. Because he said it one other time, but this one really took the cake. So they're thinking, like, I don't know if we can do this. That's a lot of camping. We've never really done that. And he says, no, fuck that. We're the Linwoods. And she, in her mind, is like, yeah, I agree half-heartedly, as if our last name truly carries any weight. Like, are you just not proud of who you are? Are you not proud of your in-laws? Like, what? This is the part that is frustrating for me, is because I feel like this is going to become a her problem. To me, right now, this is feeling like it is a her problem, not a them problem. So she is the one who feels like she has nothing. She is the one who feels like things are off. And I get they're both not communicating, but again, to me, this feels like a her problem right now. So hopefully it becomes a them problem, because right now her saying the fact that their last name means nothing to her and blah blah blah, I don't know. I'm just not really vibing with it. But we're on chapter 7. We're not even on like page 100. And we have 12, basically 13 hours left. So I've been reading for an hour. I stopped and ate some lunch, so it's, what time is it? It's 1:30, because I stopped and ate some lunch. And I called my mom, so we paused the timer for a little bit, but yeah, hopefully this gets better. And I'm also, normally I love a flashback. I've not been loving the flashbacks in this book. I think it's just because it's so starkly going from her feeling uncomfortable in her skin now to seeing their relationship, quote unquote, at its best. Like, they both care for each other, they're both doing things for each other, They both clearly love each other. So I'm not really fucking with the flashbacks, but okay, we have reached chapter 16, page 201, and we've got some things to talk about. I have been going longer stints without talking to you guys because there's just not a lot to talk about. It's a lot of the same stuff over and over again, and I hate to say I'm not liking this book. It is not. I am skipping over the flashback chapters because, quite frankly, I do not care. And I know there's probably a lot of things that I need and a lot of backstory, and I just don't care to read it. I'm so sorry. But one thing I wanted to talk about, so in one of the flashbacks that I did read, page 108, Sarah's mom's diagnosis. Well, they still don't really have a diagnosis for her, but she's getting worse. She's getting weaker. She's getting sicker. And she basically asked for Caleb's help and to get contacts from his mom and the doctors that she knows. So we end with a text from, my mom just heard back from her friend, Dr. Torres has agreed to meet with your mom. So that's something that I'm thinking, like, maybe that's why she thinks she relies on him too much, because that doctor quite literally is who got her mom the diagnosis that she needs, but I have no idea. Okay, and then page 116, this is back to present day. They're on the retreat, they're walking, and they're doing this group activity where they just kind of talk, and they talk about things that have been going on and issues that they've been having and whatnot, and Sarah starts talking about how her and Caleb got together and everything with her mom, and this is something that stuck out to me. She's talking about their wedding, and she says that they got married when they did because her mom was so sick, and they knew they were going to get married eventually, and they wanted her mom to be there, so they threw a wedding together in 6 weeks. They sang songs they didn't know the melodies to in a church they had never been to. And she says that she doesn't regret marrying Caleb, obviously, but she regrets the way that they got married and wished they had done it better. I just thought that was just little bits that are important to knowing really what Sarah's problem is and like what she's feeling. And it's not necessarily that she does not want to be with Caleb anymore. It's just she's having like a midlife crisis, even though she's 30. So technically not midlife. Okay, this page she's talking more about, so this is page 119, she's talking more about her relationship with Caleb and how when her mom passed, she kind of just broke down and did not work, did not go to school. She just let herself sit in the grief, and Caleb worked and Caleb went to school, and he basically funded their lives for those 2 years, and she couldn't hold down a job, and that's more so where her giving up on her dream of wanting to become a writer and all that fell apart, was just because her grief was so bad and she couldn't get out of it. This part I liked. This is page 121, and I liked this because she's almost calling herself out on her emotions. That's where the fundraiser came in. I decided to stop moping, to take a page out of Wynn's book and finally do something. No more words, no more excuses, but action. I'd help a cause near and dear to my heart and feel some sense of purpose. Then one half-baked comment from Caleb, where he calls it our event, had me reeling and grasping for total control. I feel like that is important because that is her moment of, holy shit, I don't have anything for myself. And I mean, we know, because that's basically where the book starts, that that's basically the catalyst of everything, and the catalyst of her looking back on the last 15, 16 years and going, holy shit. Maybe even the last 10 years that her mom has been gone, just being like, wow, I really let this just take over my whole life. Page 135, this is after she basically spilled her guts to everybody, and her and Caleb are in different groups for this, so she is not with Caleb, and she starts wondering what Caleb is telling everybody, like what complaints does he have, what bad things, blah blah blah. But these, I think, are all issues that she has with herself. So she lists them off. I listed each of my greatest insecurities and imagined them pouring from Caleb's lips. I drink too much, I tease too much, I spend too much, I'm clingy, ungrateful, lazy, dependent, judgmental, harsh, critical, brash, needy, unaccomplished, all the ways I don't measure up to my potential. The potential he saw in me before I saw it in myself, that he has no doubt painfully watched go to waste over these years. I don't know, I think it's just so, it's helping me at least like the book more that she is noticing these things and calling them out and noticing, like, I am the one putting these pressures on myself. I am the one putting these insecurities on myself. It is not inherently Caleb doing it. It is not inherently my mom doing it. It is not my best friend doing it. It is me thinking about what I've lost and pressuring myself to live up to that. What else do we have? Okay, is that it? Yes, okay. Page 147, we finally start to see a little bit more of Caleb, like, his feelings, his actions. I would love if this was dual POV and not single POV, because I wish we could get more about what's going on in Caleb's head. But so Sarah goes to talk to Caleb about everything that she talked about and what she wants to change, and Caleb asks what truly needs to change, what is so terrible about our life as it is. What is so terrible about our life as it is? She replies, do you really want to be exactly where we are 10 years from now, 20 years, 30 years? Caleb's jaw slackens, his eyebrows rising as he huffs out a forceful breath. Oh my god, you do, I whisper. Fuck me for being happy, I guess. That is the first time that we really see his emotions and his feelings, and I wish we got more of it, because right now, and this might be something that is just a me thing, but right now for Sarah, it's just feeling me, my issues, my problems, my family, my whatever. And as the book goes on, we're getting a little bit more of Caleb, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying getting his point of view. Not really his point of view, but like his feelings, his side of everything. I like it. Oh, this I really like. So page 158, she's talking to one of the girls that they're doing the retreat with. And this is like after they kind of argue. This is like after their little blow up or whatever. Or no, this is after so this is the day after their argument, and they're doing a team exercise to work on their communication skills. So they're doing like the arm knot and some other ones, and Sarah goes up to her friend Nina and says, "Would you judge me if I said I were angry? We're doing so well at all of these." She sips loudly, then ponders for a split second, her eyes up to the sky. "A little? Well, then judge away." And then she goes into saying that she has learned more about the communication styles of everybody in the group, not just her and her boyfriend or whoever. And I thought that was so interesting because she's paying attention to everybody. And again, like I said, everything with Sarah has just been me, and Caleb, me and Caleb. And she kind of had this moment where she's talking with Nina and she goes, "Oh, well, shit." And like, I need to notice that too. So yeah, we're on chapter 16, page 201 out of 315 pages. So we're definitely going to finish this by today. We have 10 and a half hours left. Again, I'm going through this faster than I thought I would because I am skipping chapters. Because I have no desire to learn about their past. And I know this sucked, and I know this is really harsh on this author and on this book. I truly do not care to go learn about their relationship 14 years ago. I am invested in the now. That's really the only story that I care about, is what's happening right now at the retreat. So, turns out we might read City of Glass after all, or something else. But, yeah, I'll probably see you guys. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of things to talk about with this book, so I might see you when I finish it, or I might see you like once or twice before I finish it. Okay, we finished Out of the Woods. It was not a book for me. I think it was just the plot that got to me. I just was not vibing with it. I was not vibing with the characters. But we still have 8 hours left of this challenge. So, City of Glass it is. It's about 8:30 p.m. I had some school stuff to do today, so I did not read that much. I mean, obviously, Out of the Woods, but have not started City of Glass yet. We're going to start it tonight. We'll see how much I can get done tonight, and probably finish in the morning if I don't get finished with it tonight, because if I finish this before the timer is done, I'm just going to call it. I feel like 3 books is enough, but we'll see. So, City of Glass it is. Timer, ambiance, candle. Let's go for book number 3. Okay, crazy first chapter. Like, I'm only on page 30. Just finished the first chapter. We've got some wild stuff going on. So, Clary is about to go on a trip to Idris to go to whatever warlock put her mom to this spell to keep her asleep. Her mom's been asleep for the first 2 books, so she's going to Idris to try and figure this out. She's talking with Simon, telling her about the plan and everything, and we have a flashback to her talking with Jace. Jace doesn't want her to go to Idris. Then we get Simon's POV. Simon is at the Institute talking to Jace. Jace wants Simon to lie and tell everybody else that Clary decided she's not going because they have the portal ready to go to Idris now, whereas Clary thought they were leaving that night. And in the midst of them talking, Forsaken Warriors bust out and try to kill everybody. And they end up killing Madeline, aka Jocelyn's friend, who knows, she's the one who knew that Jocelyn put herself under the spell. Crazy first chapter! So, now I think Maurice, Max, Isabel, and maybe Alec went through the portal, but we know for a fact that Madeline is dead, Simon got injured, and TBD on Jace. But yeah, also didn't realize that this was a collector's edition. Like I think this says it's the 15th anniversary edition. Had no idea, just got this as a gift. Thank you, boyfriend's mom. Okay, small update. We're on page 50. And I hate to say it, but Clary, the more that I read, the more that Clary reminds me of Rory from Gilmore Girls. And I mean that in the way of the fact that she hates to be told the truth. Like, specifically, I saw this clip earlier, so that's why I'm thinking of it. It makes me think of when she sleeps with Dean, even though he's married, and Lorelai's telling her, like, Claire, you slept with a married man, and she's like, that's my Dean. Whatever about that. So, Clary is with Luke, and they get to the Institute. Sorry, just hit y'all with my book. They get to the Institute. Magnus is there. He tells them about the fight or the battle and everything, and says that they went through the portal, and Clary is upset about being left behind. Well, because of her magic of enhancing, creating, whatever it is with the runes, she basically creates or uses, I don't know if it's a new rune or a rune that was already in existence, but basically a rune for portal. And she goes through it, and Luke goes through it trying to stop her, and because you can't portal directly into Alicante, they are on the edge of it, and Luke has to drag Clary out of a river before she dies, and she's upset and blah blah blah, and Luke hits her with this. Of course you didn't know. You don't know anything about Idris. You don't even care about Idris. You were just upset about being left behind like a child, and you had a tantrum, and now we're here, lost and freezing. He broke off, his face tight. Come on, let's start walking. Thank you, Luke. Thank you for hitting her with a dose of reality, because while I think everything would have been fine had she gone to Idris, it's the fact that she is using magic that she doesn't understand and is just throwing caution to the wind that is gonna get her killed. So I'm glad someone, especially Luke, someone that she cares about, hit her with that realization. But yeah, we're gonna keep reading. Oh, and we figured out that Simon and Jace also went through the portal after the Forsaken attack. So Simon is in Idris, not in Alicante, I think, maybe? I don't think he's in Alicante, but they're in Idris, and they kind of have to, like, defend Simon, like, defend the reason that he's there because downworlders are not welcome in Idris, so that's gonna be fun. Okay, update time. We are on page 102. We just hit chapter 5. And things are getting crazy. So, remember that lake that I mentioned that Clary and Luke had fallen into? Well, apparently that is a cursed lake for shadow hunters, and it causes hallucinations and even death if you drink the water. Now, Clary partially drowned in that lake, so she drank some of the water, and she's starting to have hallucinations. The Luke gets her to a person he knows his place who can give her some medicine to help out. Lo and behold, that person is his sister. Okay, then we go to Simon's ish POV, and he's talking with Jace. Things are kind of weird. Jace is flirting with this other girl, but it's not really that big of a deal. Simon's just kind of quiet to himself. Alec comes back, is like, hey, I don't even remember what it's called, but basically, Loki the Inquisitor wants you, they're gonna send you back to New York. Takes them. They have like a kind of bro talk about relationships. Simon gives Alex some advice on Magnus and shares his feelings with Clary and all that. And they get there to walk Simon through the portal, and the Inquisitor's like, oh, I got it from here, you can go home. The minute I read that, I was like, I do not trust this. Something is off. So they go in, and they're walking, and they can hear the Clave meeting going on. It's like, yeah, no biggie, whatever. They get to a room, and the Inquisitor starts asking Simon questions of, like, how long have you been a vampire? How did you turn into a vampire? Blah, blah, blah. And at some point, Simon is like, I'm not really gonna say who and how I became a vampire, because then that's gonna get Jace and Raphael and Clary and all these people in trouble, so I'm just gonna say I don't know. Well, the Inquisitor can tell that he's lying to him, and so more Nephilium come in, throw a bag over his head, and lock him in a dungeon that is guarded by runes to where he can't get out. So they indeed are not letting him go to New York. And nobody knows because they sent Alec away, and Alec has his faith in the Clave. Even Jace is like, you really didn't stay to make sure that he was okay? Regardless. So that's where they're at. I don't know if I'm gonna call it for the night yet. It's 11:13. I have like just about 6 hours left. I just made it to 100 pages, which was my original goal, but I want to see if I can maybe... Because these are some long chapters, by the way. Like, they're not crazy long, but also compared to Out of the Woods, which I just read, these are so many pages. And this is a long book. It's freaking... Dang near 600 pages. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can maybe get to like 150. 150 is in the middle of the chapter. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do 2-ish more chapters. That gets me to 160. Yeah, that'll be okay. is 12:11 a.m. We have about 5 hours left. We have hit chapter 7, page 159. I think I'm gonna call it here for the night, but to check in with you guys, Clary snuck out of Amatis. I think that's how it's pronounced. Luke's sister. She snuck out of Amatis's house, found her way to Jace and Isabel and Alec and all of them, the Lightwoods. Basically had a fight with Jace, found him in a loving embrace with that other girl that I was telling you he's like been oddly flirting with. But got into a fight with Jace, and basically Jace was like, "You always do this, you're so reckless, this is why I didn't want you to come, blah blah blah." And then she ran out, and then Alec told Jace that the guard, that was what it was called. He went back to the guard and heard them talking about Simon. So now Jace has a plan to go break Simon out of jail. And Jace finally confronted Alec about his feelings for him and basically said, "You only feel this way because I'm safe." I don't know. He's on this like path of destruction right now. And that's where we're at. Kind of crazy. Like, kind of crazy, kind of not. And I don't know if it's just because it's late, but I am struggling through this book. I think it's also I'm not the biggest fan of Clary. Love Simon. Love Alec. Not the biggest fan of Clary. And this Sebastian guy is weird. So Sebastian is like a old family friend, and when Clary first laid eyes upon him, she recognized him from like a drawing or something that she did, even though they'd never met. And then when she ran out of the house, he ran after her and then offered to walk her back to Amatis's house. Like, that's kind, but it's also weird. Like, you're weird. I don't know. There's something, I'm calling it now. There's gonna be something with him. But that's really all I have for the night. Definitely, most likely will not be finishing this book in the next 5 hours. But yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow to finish off the 24-hour challenge. Thank you guys for sticking with me for this long. I have no idea how long this is going to be right now, but 3 books, I feel like that's going to be a long video, so thanks for sticking.
I just finished editing this video, part 2. Needless to say, I did not end up finishing City of Glass. It is honestly, I'm gonna be so for real right now, it's been a week and a half since I filmed this video. I went to Mexico, I went to a wedding, got sick at said wedding, back in Texas, but I read maybe a couple more chapters, but I did not get to anything crazy, so I think we're just gonna have a different video of me reading City of Glass. Less of a continuation of this one, but just a separate reading vlog, because I think I've vlogged reading the other 2, City of Bones and City of Ashes. I think there's a video for those books, so why not just make another video for City of Glass? But thank you so much for watching this 2-part 24-hour reading challenge. I so badly forgot how much I did not like Out of the Woods. I apologize if that is one of your favorite books. It just did not mesh with me. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.